Welcome to Extra presented by VDG Sports. I'm your host, Vince Douglas. Yes, Gregory. No filter. Very censored. I know exactly where I want to go. I know exactly what I would like to say. Go down memory lane and look back on the failures. Back in memory lane and look back on the failures of the club life. Yes, you probably imagine. But if you go so many times, won't you just get better at it? No. That's why I said, that's why I always say that practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfection. Sit on that for a little bit. Sit on that for a little bit and let it marinate. Noobs, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming and wanting to be a part of this. Greatly appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. Regs, we back at it again. Regs, we do what we do. Regs, this feels like every single day, but it ain't every single day. It just feels that way. And we have this special unique bond that we share. Sharing is caring, but we have yet to come up with the words with this unique bond that we have. 1 century. We will have what it is, but we know we don't need words. We don't need words. And everyone else, you know who you are. You know who you are. Don't have to say it because it's non-verbal communicating peeps. But that's for everybody else that can't communicate non-verbally. That's for everyone else who can't communicate non-verbally. I definitely had a point in life, in my lifetime, where the club scene was definitely a scene that I did a lot of. And let's just say it was failure. It was failure on a multitude of levels. And I did just about any and everything within the club scene or that whole thing. Now, the end game is different. But let's just say everything that you are taught or suggested not to do, I either did or I either experienced or it's one of those. It is one of those. So let's say this. Let me say this. It's good to be fashionably late, but during my time and during a certain period, we'd go, my crew would go, we'd go early. 1, there's usually a line. 2, if you get there early, then you don't really have to wait in the line. I know where I want to go, but since I started thinking and since I brought up the line, I guess I can go left. There's a fork in the road. I can go left. I would have went right. I should have went right, but who knows? I may turn back around and retrace my steps, or I may turn back around and go down the other path. We'll see. There was this one time in particular where I was happy and glad that we decided to go early, but it seems as if everyone else decided to go early as well. And this was one of these places or parts of the country where it be cold. And this wasn't one of the times where I was pre-gaming or we were pre-gaming. Therefore, being cold wouldn't have bothered. Therefore, being cold would have went unnoticed. Therefore, being cold would have just been like, whatever. Bird like voice. However, even though pregame didn't take place. So it was cold. Went early, and the line wrapped around the building and wrapped around another building and then straight. And this was like a 2 to 3 hour kind of early thing. Yeah, it was college night. Yeah, it was ladies night. Yeah, it was all that stuff. But still, everybody else had the same thing in mind. And I'm pretty sure that there were limits to the amount of people that can get in. So I'm thinking to myself and out loud to any or all of the peeps that were listening, what if by the time we get up there, we get turned back around because they've reached the max number, and this whole planning and this whole being early and this whole wanting to be early have in fact turned out to not be really a good idea, because early wasn't early. Early was actually late. Early wasn't early. Early was actually late. I should say, this was a period where not only wasn't I pre-gaming before going early, I was also still wearing the heavy coats. I was also still wearing enough attire so I'm not cold, but I still was cold. That wind was still cutting through. It was still frosty. It was still freezy, frosty. And it baffled me that some women, young ladies, decided to wear, let's just say, wasn't dressed for the weather, but was dressed for the club. Wasn't dressed for the weather, but was dressed for the club. I gotta salute them. I gotta give a shout out to them. And I told them at the time, you are brave. You're a braver person than I am, because I just couldn't do it. But when I eventually get into a building like that, you have to, or you would put your coat at the coat place, or have somebody take it, or have your crew watch it in your area. It did present problems later on. But the thing is, if you had to wait a significant amount of time outside, then you just have to brave it. And they braved it. Shout out, kudos. I couldn't do it. And I didn't do it. Couldn't do it and didn't do it. So I'm in this line, dressed for the weather, still cold, worried, concerned that by the time I get up there, it's going to turn us away. By the time we get up there, it's turned away. And it wasn't like the other club that we went to. The other club where we went to, and they almost thought we were VIP. So we got kind of like boosted to the front of the line, or maybe they was just feeling sorry for us or whatnot. But this wasn't that place. That was a different story. I've went into extreme detail with that story, so you can go back and check the historical documents on that. That club had a concert, and with that concert, it was some peeps that only knew 1 or 2 songs, and for whatever reason, they thought that I was with the peeps performing. Yeah, go figure. And somehow I managed up on stage. Hey. But anyway, like I said, you can go back and review the historical documents for that. That is well detailed out. I'm talking about this time, this instance. In fact, I really wanted to talk about the failures of the club, but I thought about being in line. I thought about being outside in line and dealing with extreme factors, dealing with the weather, dealing with the length of time being out there, and dealing with the possibility of maybe, just maybe, not making it in because they reached their limits at max capacity. And this was one of these places where you had to go to. This is one of these places where you had to be. The weekend, you got to be there. The weekend, you better be there. The weekend, this is it. And it wasn't like this was a small town either. This was a big place. There was many and multiple options, but this was one of the venues that always came up when it was time to shake your tail feathers. This was the venue that always came up when it was time to, do the two-step or do something. Do the two-step or do something. But it was good. It was cool that we did actually make it in. We actually did make it in and got inside, and it was crowded. It was crowded. It was crowded, and we went early and everything. And that goes back to the larger picture. I guess I can circle back around and go right now. Goes back to the larger picture. I never really figured out the club scene. I never really figured out the whole club thing. And I bounced around from pretty much every aspect of the club life. Whether it's, okay, go early. Okay, go late when it's about to close, like an hour. Been there, done that. Trying to have conversations within a club. Been there, done that. The only thing that's good for if you want to not have a voice the next day. The only thing that's good for if you don't want to have a voice the next day, or you want your throat scratchy, or you just want your voice to go in and out, because trying to talk over loud music ain't a good idea. It ain't good for nobody. You got to put your mouth close to somebody's ear. And if you're afraid of ears, if you're afraid of getting close to somebody like that, then you shouldn't do it. And then if somebody ain't comfortable with you getting close, with you getting close like that, you definitely shouldn't do it. You should respect others people's bubbles. And if there isn't a bubble to respect, then I suggest you figure out the imaginary bubble, because everybody has some bubble that you gotta respect. And if you ain't respecting it, or if you just don't know that that person's with somebody and you just can't see, it's not good. It's not good. And this is me with my experience. Maybe your experience is different. Maybe you just winning all the time. Maybe you just always flying the W. Maybe you just never held the L. Maybe you know the inside game to clubbing. I ain't never learned it. And I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. And it's not something that I'm looking to do anymore. That ship has sailed. That is gone. I'm just sharing my abundant wealth with you. Sharing my abundant wealth with you. Even the dancing part, having dancing contests, dance-offs, and what have you. That was another part of the club life as well. And did the wallflower as well. Wallflower, just stand on the wall and just watch everybody else have fun and have a good time while I'm just sitting there upset and angry that I'm at a club. That period lasted for a good year or so, because I was tired of taking the L. I was tired of losing my voice. I was tired of dancing. I was tired of waiting in line. I was tired of going extremely late. It's like once you been down every avenue, once you basically tried every option that was available or that was thought of, you get to a point where you're like, I need the new. I need something different. So let me just try this out. Let me just try this out. And it happened. It happened. Of course, I'm not the angry type. Of course, I'm not the upset type. So it didn't last as long as a year-ish seemed. Because it was an entire year where this happened. Then I figured out that there are more options. Yes, there's lounges, there's bars, there's speakeasies. There are different versions. There are different versions of, how can I put this? There are different versions of going to activities or going to places and being social on that kind of level. And then there was also bars that turned into clubs at a certain time. Those were the best of both worlds. Not only can you do what it do because it's a real bar, but it's a club part too. And you can talk. And you don't have to worry about somebody picking something at the jukebox, somebody picking a song that just ain't a part of what it needs to be for everybody else to have a good time, for everybody else to let their hair back, for everybody else to, and that's the, for everybody to just come together and do everything that peeps want to do when they are being social, out drinking adult beverages. And there's certain music that you can and can't, but you pick, you choose, just not at the jukebox, just not at the bar. It never ends well. Oh, and there's historical documents for that as well. You can go back and check. You're welcome. Thank you for listening. This episode is not being sponsored and recorded by VinceDouglasGregory.com. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, all things in between. All things Vince. Be sure to check out the new and yes, still improved website at extra.vdgsports.com. That is extra.vdgsports.com. This is YouTube as well. VDG Sports. Like, subscribe, share, basically do whatever it is you do there. Comment if you may, comment if you must. Yeah, do it. Noobs, I should say. Thank you once again. Thank you for the opportunity. That's all we and I can never ask for. Thank you. Regs, you know what time it is. It's that time again. Still not going to get it, but you're going to get some version of it. And noob, that is out with the peace. Peace out.